Hey everybody, good morning. Tactical Tuesday, Tommy Ady here. And why am I late? I'm late because I was not prepared. Not prepared for a bad internet connection. So I've been driving all around this town, and we've always got good internet service, but something's got to be wrong. Wish I could show you our internet tower or our cell tower here, because it's kind of cool. Maybe I can get in a good spot to show it off to you. Anyway, what it is, they put it up about a year ago, and it's a tree. It's a fake tree. Yeah, you can't see it. Sometime I'm going to go over there and show it to you. Anyway, it's a fake tree, and it's pretty cool. It's hundreds of feet tall, and took them a long time to put it up. But for Verizon, they're the ones that needed it the most and put it up. For Verizon, they had to make it look like a tree. Otherwise, the city wasn't going to let them do it. And so it's right on the edge of the golf course, and it's got all these branches on it. I've seen a couple of birds fly onto it. But last night, I'll tell you what I've been doing. I just got home yesterday and another trip. Last night, took my son and daughter. You know, I've got 3 kids. There, I'm going to move that over there. So I took my son and daughter out to practice. You know, they race BMX. And my daughter's 7 years old. And she raced the other day. But she raced on Saturday. She got second. My son, he got first. He's 14. And something that he did recent. Well, what I was watching last night is we're always doing this. I'm videoing him for training. He's pretty good. He's really good. And the gate, I wish I could use 2 hands on this. The gate sits like that. Their front tires go up against it. He moves before it drops. So what it is, there's a cadence to it. The announcer, it's the same thing every single time. It's a recorded cadence, and the announcer says, "Riders ready, watch the gate." And so there's a couple. You can watch the lights. Anyway, he's going before the gate even moves. He does not wait for the gate to move. And he didn't used to do this. Most kids don't do this, but you get better. The fast guys do it. Fast guys, fast girls, they do it. You got to move. And we were talking about it this morning. How do you get to that point where you can do that, where you move before the gate is going and before any of the other riders are going? Now, it's practice. That's what it is. So he practices every single day. Now, something a lot of people don't know, he just qualified for the world team. He's on the U.S. team. The World Championships this year, they're going to be in, South Carolina? Rockville, I think it's called. And I thought we were going to go to it. We're not going to go to it. He says he does not want to go. He's on the world team, on the U.S. team, and he does not want to go to the World Championships. He said he wants to wait, and he feels he's not going to be ready this year. What do you mean you're not going to be ready? I mean, I think he's ready. I'm ready. And he looks ready. Oh, by the way, he's national number 9. That's his ranking for last year. Nag 9. He got as high as 4, top 4. We're headed to Canada this weekend. We're going to take off on Friday morning, fly up to Canada, go to a national there. He's going to race for 2 days. So, of course, where's my video camera here? I always feel like I'm looking at the wrong spot. I bet it's over on the right. So we're going to go to Canada for that. Anyway, so the way that he got to that point where he can move before the gate moves and anybody else moves, it's practice. And then my other son, he's 18. He's going to graduate this year and head to college. He can speak. He's headed to Japan first. So the cool thing about him, he's a 4.0 student. He got the presidential award for his grades. which is okay, but I'm proud of him, but he wasn't too excited about that. It's kind of lame because they bunch you in with, and it's great if a kid can get a 3.5, but he's in honors courses. He's taken a ton of college courses, AP courses, and things, calculus at the college. But so he's got this award ceremony last week, and it was horrible. Anyway, they tell you to dress up, wear your best clothes, and you go get your award. So anyways, with all these kids that get a 3.5 GPA, haven't taken any honors courses, but they're lumped in there. He didn't really give a shit, and but we're proud of him anyway. Anyway, how can he speak Japanese just on the fly? Somebody says something to him in Japanese, he's speaking Japanese. They say something in Spanish, he's speaking Spanish. English, yeah, of course he's speaking English too. This morning he's up at 5 o'clock in the morning and he's baking. Yeah, he's that kid. He's taking dessert to 28 other students in his calculus class. So he got up at 5 in the morning. He was running a little bit behind. Anyway, how is he able to do all this stuff? It's practice. But they still have to practice, but it comes on the fly. They don't have to think about it. Somebody says something to them, or there's a race, and they're going to move. They're going to do what's expected of them. One of them, I mean, my 14-year-old, he's even on the U.S. team, and that's a big deal to him, but he's going to wait until next year. It's practice. And so what does this have to do with sales people? How often do you practice? I was thinking about, I wish I could have racked up. I got to turn the radio down here. I didn't realize it was on. How much practice does the average salesperson do? What's the average salesperson sell? About 18 to 20 units a month. So are you selling fewer than that, or are you selling more than that? Now, I guarantee if you're not practicing what you're supposed to do, you're probably not selling 20 units a month. You're probably selling fewer than that. The only way that you're going to get to 25 to 30, and I'm talking about an average. We were in a dealership last week, and the average salesperson sold about 29, 30 units a month. No, that was their best month over the winter, and so that's what we always remember. Anyway, I go off of a 90-day average, so it's practice. What are you going to start practicing? You've got to practice. The biggest mistake I see to start off with is the CRM. A lot of people don't even know what a CRM is. Your customers go in it, and you've got to have a CRM. So let's say you're selling 20 units a month. How many people should be in your CRM for that month? A minimum of 60 people should be in there. Names and numbers. Names and numbers. Now it's got to be email addresses. Why is that? Because they're not going to answer the phone. We've got to email them. We've got to text them. The unacceptable amount, would be 3 times the people that you've sold. The acceptable amount would be 4 times, because 4 times, if you've got 100 people in there and you sold 25, that means your closing ratio is what? It's 25%. If you sold 20 and you've got 60 people in there, that means your closing ratio is 30%. Most people don't have a 30% closing ratio. Now, a dealership that Brian and I were in last week, we're in Iowa. They had nobody in their CRM, 0. So the cool thing for them, I think they were selling an average of like one was doing 19, the other one was doing 21. So they're totally average salespeople. Cool thing about that, they're average without even doing what the average salesperson should do. And so they're going to go right up as long as they start using the CRM. And now they had a CRM. Now they've got a second CRM. They're not going to use the first. It's a long story. Anyway, they've got stuff to practice now. What are you going to practice this week? What are you going to say when your customers say, what are they going to object to when they come into your dealership? They're going to say, they've got to think about it, right? Got to talk to my spouse. Got to check around. This is the first place I've stopped. These are really expensive. What are you going to say to that? They're not going to say anything. I'm almost healthy. You know, I've been sick for about a month, and it is about totally gone. Anyway, they're going to say the same things that they've been saying for weeks, for months, for years to salespeople. I know I can walk into a store, and if somebody's going to try to sell me something, I'm going to say, okay, I'll talk it over with my wife. I got to check with my wife. Do I have to? No, I really don't. But I know that most salespeople can't handle that. And it's always interesting to find out. Well, it's not interesting to find out what they're going to say to respond to that. But what's the most common objection you're going to get? Now, I always think, I hear a lot that it's, they've got to go. I wonder if I can get that glare off my glasses. I'm going to the eye doctor today. So, most common objection I hear a lot of people getting is I've got to go talk to my wife. Now, when a customer walks in the door, I know if they got a ring on, I'm going to pay attention to that. If they've got a ring on, remember, you've got to be observant. You've got to be watching. If they've got a ring on, I know that they've got a spouse, right? So I'll start talking to them. I'll build a little bit of rapport in the first couple of minutes, and then I'll probably just say something like, hey, I see you got a ring on there. What's your wife think about this? They're going to tell me, oh, she's okay with it. She doesn't care what I do. Or they're going to say, yeah, I haven't told her that I'm here. Anyway, I'm going to find out right up front within the first couple of minutes, and they're going to think it's kind of exactly, Mark, easier to ask for forgiveness than it is permission. And that's what so many of us do. So I'm just going to get it right out in the open, and they're going to say something. What I'm doing, I'm helping them get rid of these objections they're gonna try to come up with later, because I'm gonna ask for a lot of money. This is a big financial decision that they're gonna be making. I'm gonna ask them for $5, $10, $15,000, $30,000. Who knows how much money I'm gonna ask them for? But it's scary. It's fear. It's not fear of their spouse. It's fear of the commitment. The fear of making that payment, of writing out that check. So I'm going to get it right out in the open. What's your wife think about this? Oh, she's okay. She doesn't care about that. Then later on, they're going to say, okay, I know what they're going to say. They're going to say, I got to talk it over with my wife. Oh, so now what are we going to say about that? And there's videos on this. I've got the videos on YouTube. So you go find that video. If you can't find it, you just let me know that you can't find this video. But it's the spouse close, and that's what it is. Remember, these people want to buy, but they say, I got to talk it over with my wife. Well, you know what? There's a number of spouse closes, but you know what? If you're anything, you mentioned earlier that your wife already knows, and if you're anything like my wife and I are, we like to sit down on the couch, figure out what's in the budget, what we're going to get, and all that, and she always knows I want a new motorcycle, and is that what you guys do? Oh, it is. That's funny. Yeah, we do the exact same thing. So so it sounds like it comes down to fitting it into the budget. Make sure you're getting a good deal and fitting it into the budget. Now, when you say you got to make sure that this fits into the budget, are you talking about the overall check that you're writing out, or the monthly payment? There's no wrong answer. Your customer's going to pick one. Typically, it's going to be the monthly payment. And then I'm going to respond with, so what you're saying, other than the monthly payment fitting into your budget, there's probably no other reason why we couldn't wrap this up right now. You know what? I understand my wife and I were the exact same way. Let's go over here and I'll get some figures for you. And then you'll have something to think about. Now, what am I doing? I'm overcoming the objection. It's a concern. It may be a real one. It may not be. But I'm isolating it, and then I'm going to take them over to do what? Write them up. Put them on paper. Show them some figures. Why would I show him some figures? Because it takes numbers to buy. How's he going to have something to talk over with his wife if he doesn't have any numbers? Now, I'm not taking him over to write him up just to give him numbers to go home with. I'm taking him over to write him up, hoping that he picks out one of those payment options or a price option and says, wow, I didn't realize it was going to be so cheap to do something like that. Yeah, I'll take that payment right there. That's what I'm doing. People want to buy, but you've got to lead them to it and be prepared to overcome their objections or their concerns. How do you do that? You practice. That was a close right there. Do you know that close? If you don't, that's what you need to practice. And then all of a sudden, you've got an extra close. Because remember, how many closes does the average salesperson know? 1. How many does the average sales manager know? 2. That's why they're the sales manager. So over the next week, what you've got to do is you've got to practice. And if you're the 18, 20, 25 unit a month guy or lower, there's no excuses for that. How often are you practicing? Where are you getting the tools to practice? They're all over the place. Books, internet, manufacturers. I've got them all over the place. Anyway, it is Tactical Tuesday. What's going on? Oh, something to finish off with. This morning, Spirit Airlines, I think it was LAX. Check out that brawl. A couple of canceled flights, 8 canceled flights, and people go nuts and start fighting. Anyway, some interesting news this morning. But practice. I'm Tommy Ady, Tactical Tuesday. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.